We all learn in school that to move forward, you have to push something back. It's Newton's third law. It's why rockets work, it's why cars work, and it's why you work. It's supposed to be a fundamental, unbreakable law of the universe. But what if you could just break it? What if you could build a machine that moves forward without pushing anything back? It sounds like science fiction, but right now, in high-tech labs and even floating in orbit, scientists are building spacecraft that seem to do exactly that. They move without fuel, no exhaust, just thrust, from nothing. It's something that our rulebook for physics says is completely impossible. So, are these impossible spacecraft real? Are they defying gravity? And if they are, could this be the secret to finally exploring the stars? First, you have to understand the biggest, most brutal problem in all of space travel. It's a soul-crushing piece of math called the Tsiolkovsky rocket equation. Here's what it means in simple terms. To go faster, you need more fuel. But fuel is heavy. And to push that extra weight, you need, you guessed it, even more fuel. It's a terrible cycle. The result is that almost all of a rocket's weight, we're talking over 90%, is just fuel that gets completely torched in the first few minutes. This is why space missions are so ridiculously expensive and so incredibly limited. We are chained to the fuel we can carry. So building a propellantless drive, one that doesn't need any fuel, isn't just a small step. It's a revolution. It would change literally everything. And a few teams of brilliant and maybe slightly crazy scientists think they're about to do it. First up is a company called Exodus Propulsion Technologies, led by a guy with some serious street cred, Dr. Charles Bueller, a former top NASA engineer who ran the electrostatics lab at Kennedy Space Center. His team is packed with experts from NASA, Blue Origin, and the Air Force, and they are taking on the laws of physics head-on. Their machine doesn't burn fuel. It doesn't shoot out ions. It just uses electricity. Their claim is that by creating special types of electric fields, their drive creates a force. It makes thrust without shooting a single thing out the back. Imagine a speedboat that moves through the water without a propeller. It just goes. This is a huge claim, and for years their devices produced almost zero force. But then, in 2023, they announced something that sounded impossible. In a special vacuum chamber that copies the physics of deep space, they claim their latest prototype produced a mind-blowing amount of force. They say it generated enough thrust to counteract Earth's gravity. Now that is a monumental claim that has not been independently verified, but if it's true, it changes everything. Dr. Bueller himself said his team discovered a new force that our current physics just can't explain. But what is it? No one really knows yet. Bueller admits that even though they see it working, they don't fully understand the how, and that it's going to take a global scientific effort to figure it out. Next, we're diving into the super weird world of quantum physics with a theory called quantized inertia, or QI. I'm going to try and simplify a galaxy-brained idea. QI says that inertia, an object's resistance to moving, isn't just a property of the object itself. Instead, it's an effect caused by the quantum world. The theory says that when you accelerate, you're interacting with a sea of virtual particles that exist literally everywhere, and this pushes back on you. That pushback is what we call inertia. So what? Well, if inertia is just a pushback from the quantum realm, QI believers say you can build a shield. By creating a special kind of shield at the quantum level, you could block the pushback from one direction. The result? You get pushed forward. You get thrust. This isn't just a theory. A company named IVO Limited built a quantum drive based on this idea and launched it into space on a SpaceX rocket in late 2023. But, in a massive letdown, the satellite it was on had a power failure, and the drive was never even turned on. But IVO is not giving up. A second shot is already in the works. Another IVO quantum drive is a payload on the OTP-2 satellite, which launched in March 2025. The mission is simple. See if the drive can actually move the satellite in space. If that satellite's orbit changes in a way that can't be explained, it would be gigantic proof for this wild theory. While those other drives are challenging physics, there's another idea that is way more conventional but just as cool: the electric sail, or e-sail. Think of a sailboat on the ocean. The e-sail is the same idea, but the wind is the solar wind, a non-stop stream of charged particles shooting from the sun. And the sail isn't a piece of cloth. It's a set of super long, super thin wires that could stretch for kilometers. The spacecraft unrolls these wires and zaps them with a positive voltage. This creates a giant electric field. When the positively charged particles from the solar wind get near, they are repelled by the field, giving the spacecraft a tiny push. It's a constant, gentle nudge. No fuel is used at all, it just sails on the solar wind. This idea doesn't break any laws of physics. The challenge is all about engineering. How do you fly something with wires thinner than a human hair that are kilometers long without them breaking? Lab tests have been really promising, but a full-scale test in space hasn't happened yet. Still, the ESAIL is a top contender for future missions to the outer solar system. Okay, let's be real for a second. Is any of this legit? Anytime someone says they broke a law like conservation of momentum, scientists get very skeptical. It's like trying to move your car by sitting inside and pushing on the dashboard. It's not going to work. You have to push something out to go forward. Science history is filled with impossible inventions that were just mistakes. The most famous was the EM drive, which got a ton of hype but was later dismissed when scientists figured out the tiny forces they measured were probably just from heat or Earth's magnetic field messing with the experiment. For both the Exodus and IVO drives, the single biggest problem is proof. The results sound amazing, but they haven't been copied by other independent scientists and published in major journals. Until that happens, these ideas are stuck on the fringes. Critics say the tiny forces could be from anything, weird electrical effects in the vacuum chamber or other errors that are super hard to spot. The scientists behind these drives know this. Dr. Bueller has been very open about needing more research. The story of the EM drive is a huge warning sign. If you're going to make a claim this big, you need proof that is absolutely undeniable. So where does that leave us? We're at a crazy intersection in science. In one direction, we have the laws of physics that have worked for hundreds of years. In the other, we have these experiments that just won't go away, hinting that maybe we don't know everything. If, and it's a gigantic if, these fuel-less drives are proven to be real, the world changes overnight. A ship that never runs out of gas could accelerate forever. Trips to Mars could take weeks, not months. We could send probes to the nearest stars in a single lifetime. The entire solar system would be unlocked. The next few years are critical, with experiments like the IVO quantum drive being tested in orbit and labs trying to replicate the Exodus results. We might finally get an answer. Is this the start of a completely new era of space travel? Or are they just ghosts in the machine? Either way, the hunt for the answer is what science is all about. It's about always pushing, always asking what if, and never ever believing something is impossible. If you want to see what happens next in this incredible story and be the first to know if we've actually discovered a new law of physics, then make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what comes next. Thanks for watching.